Do you wanna escape the Matrix? Respect women and become so rich you can lose it all in gambling websites? Then I don't know what they're doing here. I'm literally a dude with too much free time trying to make it on YouTube. It's actually so over. But what the hell is exactly the Matrix? Well, the Matrix originally began as a concept in the movie The Matrix. Shocking, you know. And before I proceed, spoiler warning, I'll be explaining part of the movie. Now, for all my fellow young zoomers, The Matrix was a movie where the central point of the plot was about escaping the Matrix, which is a shared, simulated reality modeled on the world as it was in 1999. The idea of this simulation was so the machines that enslaved humankind can harvest their bioelectric power while keeping their minds pacified in the Matrix. Saying this now I realize this sounds like some schizopost. Mango! 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 And from this concept was born the idea of the Matrix in our own reality. The Matrix in our world is understood as the being trying to turn into a 9-to-5 wagey that only works, doesn't improve himself, and mindlessly consumes media all day. Basically the average person in 2025. While the super rich abuse your labor and live a lavish, luxurious lives. By the way, I promise this is not a communist propaganda, or is it? I mean, who wants to do something useful when you can just sit at home all day, rot, do dropshipping and meme coin trading, wake up people? Instead of being 9 years old, you should have bought some Bitcoin. Maybe now you could have been somebody. Now, the man who popularized the idea of the Matrix is Mr. Top G himself, Andrew Tate. For the lucky few who are still unaware, let me explain who exactly Andrew Tate is. Emory Andrew Tate III is an American and British social media personality, businessman and former professional kickboxer. He gained notoriety for his scandalous takes that don't align with the current social norms. Just take a look at a few of his clips. It is clear he's doing it mainly for provocative effect.
Really? You know what? So many women say to me, "You're so, Andrew, you know what? You're so rich, but you're smart and you're actually very intelligent. And I know you'd get really bored of a robot." And I'm sitting there thinking, bitch, I wish to God you were a robot. You better shut the f up. We talk about star signs? Oh yeah, I'm so glad. Tell me more about Sagittarius rising. Idiot.
The world at large has told you, watch Netflix, eat the bugs, watch Disney, don't have a sword, don't walk around with a sword. That's what they want you to do. You're standing there and they say, oh, I don't actually eat.
So, you talk a lot about the Matrix. They're trapping me. They're attacking me. Who is the Matrix?
The Matrix is the, have you seen the movie?
I have.
Okay. So in the movie, The Matrix, we're in a computer controlled reality, right? They've projected a false reality into people's minds to entertain them while their bodies are being exploited by the machines. And it's very similar here in the real world. You are inside of a reality which is false. It doesn't necessarily have to be computer controlled, but it's certainly media influenced.
But who controls it?
The people who are behind the media machine, the people who are in charge of the world, which are also behind the governments. And the point I'm making when I say the Matrix is they will tell you false versions of reality. They will tell you things that simply aren't true, so that you believe in lies to keep yourself and your mind distracted while your body is being exploited for work. And it's exactly the same thing as the movie itself.
I mean, the man really hates the Matrix. They probably took his hair for something. I don't know. One like, one prayer for Tate's hair. Damn, I'm spitting today. Bruh. Well, ironically, if it wasn't for all the leftist narrative and woke ideas being spread all over the internet, we probably won't be having a person like Tate become that famous, even though he's literally banned from almost all social medias. In recent years, the world is taking a trajectory of biological equality between the genders and the abolishment of their respective roles, which is obviously unnatural as there are clear biological distinctions between men and women, and both are needed to build a functioning society and family. So they decided, well, why don't they just go around spewing stupid and scandalous stuff while saying one or two meaningful things, so that way I can create shock and entertainment value for the masses and garner audience, which then I can use to sell my crash courses and profit even further from men's suffering. Ironically, for a Muslim man who insists that God is real, he takes a lot of pride in the horrible things he did to become rich, such as all the scamming he committed to build his wealth.
You can't be a 10 talking about how you've been to Dubai to some fucking dude in Minnesota who's fat. He ain't gonna ever believe that he's gonna get you that way. You gotta lie to him. You gotta lie to him. She's like, lie and say what? Say that you've never been anywhere because you don't trust men. You can't find a man who's serious. Make him think that if he's serious about you, that nothing else matters. You gotta put a famoose on it. So I'm trying to teach these women, and the women kept up. So I said to them, it's like, you know what? I'm taking over. So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in. And me and my brother, and eventually some staff I trained, would do all the talking. The girls were just pure, just famoosers, just laughing and doing this, the titties out. And they were talking in ice cold hustlers. We were taking their money, all of it. And they'd come and say, what kind of, all of it. We were fucking milking them dry.
Or the fact that even though he's a Muslim, he owns a lot of casinos. Now, we all know that gambling can ruin human lives, but on top of that, last time I checked, it is still haram to gamble. In fact, casinos are banned in many Muslim countries. Now, to be fair to Tate, they are no perfect people, and it's true that things are getting really bad around the world. So yes, in a way, the Matrix is kinda attacking. Sexual immorality is on the rise, people are devouring the intimacy of sexual acts, and suffering the consequences of that, without giving much thought to it. It's pretty hard to find someone who is worth committing to. Hell, there even was one lady with questionable ethics who slept with 100 guys in one day and recorded it for her online platform. Truly, a cultural enrichment of the highest caliber. Many young men have no one to look up to, as the modern comfortable living conditions have turned most of their fathers into fat wigs or jacks. The rise of atheism also further deprives many of them from role models. Maybe back in the days, even if you were unfortunately fatherless, you could look up to Christ as a role model of a proper man, but now many young people have abandoned religion, so while you can still theoretically do that, many people won't. I mean, look at the average millennial. What more is there to say? Of course Zoomers are upset by the gym. Who even wants to end up looking like that? Also, inflation worldwide has been getting worse, especially since countries operate on fiat currencies, which are currencies backed by nothing. Essentially, their value is only given by the trust people have in them. Unlike back in the past, when we had the gold standard, where for each printed dollar there was an equal value of gold in the bank. Basically, the government couldn't print as much money as they want because there had to be an equal amount of gold in the bank. Unlike nowadays, when there are no such restrictions and the government can manipulate currency the best way they see fit. Because of that, in some cases, modern currencies are less stable than Bitcoin. All of this money printing is causing inflation, and the price of real estate to go to the moon. It is pretty much mission impossible now to buy a living place. And to top it all, loneliness and isolation has never been worse, thanks to the atomization and atheism caused by industrial living conditions, and narratives pushed by modern institutions, which in turn cause an exponential increase in young men's virginity rate. You know, maybe in the past people gathered in the churches where they socialized. It was the definitive place where all of society came together, unlike nowadays, when it is full of old people and without the internet you are kind of forced to socialize with them. But now anything goes online, so who cares? People just hop on their phones and forget about everything happening around them. There is no initiative to talk to anybody. Everything you need to know is online. All of this causes a recipe for disaster. And suddenly Andrew Tate seems pretty appealing, doesn't he? I mean, he has all of his stuff sorted out, unlike the young generation of men who are brain-rotted beyond repair. Let's take a look at Tate's attributes. Money? Check. Great physique? Check. Respectable ladies? Check. Huge ego backed by the echo chamber he built? Check. What more is there to want? Except to ask ourselves, does all of these achievements help you escape the Matrix? Well, if you ask Tate, he will tell you how you have ascended beyond the wage life and become one of the honored top Gs. Well, let's take a look at all of his teachings and critically analyze them. Now, when it comes to acquiring money, that's obviously a necessity. You have to buy V-Bucks, there is no other way. But obsessing with materialism and chasing endlessly expensive cars, watches and properties at all cost, while disregarding everything around you, can be pretty destructive, both for yourself and others around you. Materialistic possessions can satisfy you in the short term, but after a while every new toy eventually gets boring. The second aspect is the women. Almost everybody loves women. So when it comes to dating, when you decide to pursue multiple prospects, as Tate teaches, you basically condition your brain to constantly seek new experiences, essentially making committing to a single person a lot harder. That's a problem because when you want to settle down and have kids, that will be pretty tough. Even if you think right now that you will never do that, who knows, you might change your mind in the future. Interestingly, many people who commit to polygamous behavior also report feelings of unsatisfaction or emptiness, so there's that as well. Also, people in committed monogamous relationships are much happier on average than people that chase short-term gratification or ones that are lonely. They also live longer and raise kids better on average. Now, to give Tate credit, there are also good aspects of his teachings. When it comes to money, it is nice to have a lot. when they don't obsess you or become a measurement of your worth as a human being. Money can give you comfort, security, and it's also good to have in general. Also, according to a research done by Dr. Matthew Killingsworth, having more money also makes you happier. A core part of Tate's teachings in money making is that you should break the rules to make more money, and that by playing by the rules, you slow down the process and make it a lot harder. Which is pretty spot on, to be honest. After all, society wants you to be a cock in the 9-to-5 wheel. Of course they will make it, so escaping that fate is hard and it seems not worth your time and effort. But probably the best teaching of the Tate code is one of physical excellence. Exercise has numerous health benefits, few of them being mood improvement, health benefits, more energy, discipline, and confidence. It is important for every human to train regularly, as the benefits are too long to listen to the video. Overall, Pod says it the best way. He who is only an athlete is too crude, too vulgar, too much of a savage. He who is a scholar only is too soft, too effeminate. The ideal citizen is a scholar athlete, the man of thought and the man of action. And with all of this out of the way, we can safely conclude that none of these things will help you escape the Matrix. I'm sorry, thanks for watching, see you next time, bye for now. I'm just kidding, please don't go. We already said that the Matrix as a whole are the man-made institutions designed to keep you occupied with consumerism and prevent you to self-improve so you can live the 9-to-5 cycle. But even if you eventually leave the Matrix, you just become part of its hierarchy. Now you're the one enslaving the people and making them work 9-to-5 for you. Now you're the one generating profit for the Matrix by paying taxes.
Evasion is a crime, Virgil. It's an obligation.
And on top of that, you're still living in the society built by the Matrix. You're still using the Matrix services and consuming the Matrix products. You're very much still in the Matrix and the dystopia they have built. Also, at any time the system deems you dangerous, they can get you. I mean, look at what happened to Andrew Tate. Dude just straight up got arrested. If they want to eliminate him, they easily can. But how are you supposed to actually escape the Matrix? Well, ironically, there is no definitive answer. Perhaps you can just go into the wild and Ted Kaczynski max, minus the bombing people stuff. Guys, please don't bomb people.
Shut up, bitch!
Live off Mother Nature gives and try not to go crazy from the isolation, but as you know, anytime the government wants to come and apprehend you, they can. Perhaps the answer lies in starting a family farm in a small close-knit community with the person who you love. Have children and build something meaningful to you with that person, but as stated previously, the looming threat of the Matrix will always be there. Or you can have a glorious dead trying to fight the regime, but good luck with winning. I mean, they have tanks, bro, it is kinda GG. So yes, in conclusion, it is over. If you wanna escape the Matrix, hit the like button, subscribe, check out my 2 previous videos, and if I'm still alive and the Matrix hasn't gotten me, I'll see you around next time. Bye for now.